Welcome back.
Let's talk about Alaska.
Okay.
Okay.
We just returned recently from a 12-day inside passage on Oceania Riviera.
It was fantastic.
What'd you like best about it?
Well, I liked the itinerary you chose. Why did you choose that itinerary?
Many of the cruises are 7 or 8 days, like the majority of them, 6, 7, 8 days
To Alaska.
to Alaska. Many of the Alaska cruises. I found one on the Oceania Cruise line that was 12 days. And so, knowing we weren't going to do back-to-back Alaska cruises, or we might just be one and done, we might go back, I wanted a longer cruise so that we could experience more of Alaska the very first time. So with the 12 days, I mean, all the ships, you take a day of travel on either end, and so you're either now from a 7-day, it's a 5-day, but from a 12-day, it's a 10-day. So you got plenty of ports, a few more ports, and it just was more appealing for me.
Okay. And I didn't even care about going on an Alaska cruise, to be honest. It was on Mike's bucket list, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go along, and I was so surprised. So
for us, this was a last-minute cruise. We work with a travel agent, and we found it. It was sold out, so we got put on a waiting list. And we were on a waiting list for probably 8 weeks.
We forgot about the waiting list.
Yeah.
Well, we forgot about it.
Until.
So Monica called us. She called us and said, hey, you guys got in. And we're like, oh, yeah, okay.
Got in where? And so there we are on a cruise.
So we got a fabulous room. I don't know if we would have gotten that had we not been on the waiting list to do that. So we had never sailed with Oceania before, and absolutely would sail with Oceania again. It's an upscale line, and it was worth it. So we're going to share with you just what we liked about the ship and if there's anything we didn't like.
And so when we say we got last minute notice, it was we were going to be leaving in 2 weeks, which is fine for our schedule. We were able to make the correct adjustments, but we had a 2-week window to pack, make travel plans up to Seattle. It was a Seattle in and out. So we actually went a couple days early to Seattle because we love that area, Pacific Northwest. So we stayed a couple days in Seattle and then jumped on the ship. But with that short window, we didn't have time for all the excursions and whatnot.
So you have to, apparently you have to book your excursions early. So
early.
A lot of things were sold out. I think it's an excursion heavy area, and we'll talk to you what our thoughts are about that later. But you also have to book your specialty restaurants ahead of time. And we were kind of discouraged because we had a hard time getting reservations online. All of them were like at 8:00, which isn't bad, but we prefer to eat a little bit earlier. So we were able to change those once we got on board.
Right.
So, and we got additional reservations. So they guarantee you 3 of them, one at each of the restaurants, Red Ginger, Toscana, and Jocks. So the food was amazing. They said, and a lot of people we talked to said it wasn't even as good as the last time they were on Oceania, but we were like, this is great food.
We were ruined.
And we're used to good food being in Southern California. So, and we're foodies. So if you like food, this is a good line to go with.
It was great.
So we did Red Ginger, which was
probably our favorite.
Yeah.
My personal favorite.
Right. And we did, and a lot of times you'll have to sit with other people, and we weren't sure about that. And that turned out to be a good experience for us. Mm-hmm. And then we had some to ourselves. Right. So we met some really nice people by sitting with them at dinner. And we had some other people that we didn't connect with, but we had a nice dinner in spite of that.
Still enjoy their company.
Yeah. So.
They do have a dress code. This is kind of a funny story. They have a dress code for the restaurant. And the very first night, I walked in and I had...
This was the main dining room.
Room. I had slacks and just a plain T-shirt.
Yeah, it was a nice T-shirt. It was a T-shirt.
But still yeah. And the maitre d' came up and tapped me on the shoulder and asked if I had a collared shirt back in my room. So I had to go get dressed, go change my shirt, come back in. Jan was already seated. And we enjoyed our dinner, and then we got a good joke out of it because I didn't care.
Every time we saw the guy,
he felt horrible having to say something.
There's so many videos on dress codes online, and we just kind of wanted to test it out at the beginning of the cruise and see what the boundaries were. So that's what we did. And I think it worked out fine.
Yeah.
There were people, I mean, there's people, you're going to see people in the dining room that are just dressed shabby, but they follow the rules. So we just wanted to see what that looked like. So an upscale t-shirt is not okay on the Oceania Riviera.
In the dining rooms. Now
In the dining
you
room,
could go,
yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Terrace Cafe. This is a buffet.
Terrace Cafe, I thought, was a really good, it was really good because you got service. So they come to your table after you've gotten your food. If you need anything else, they will get it for you. And they will bring you drinks to the table. So it was very much like a combination experience. It wasn't, right?
Like, well, you need a sour cream for something, and they went and got it for you.
Right. It wasn't on the buffet line. I asked for some sour cream, and they just got it. And then I like that they would come and like refill your glasses with Coke or wine
check in
or whatever.
with you and make sure you had everything you needed.
And what's your you had one opinion about the staff there. They would just get anything for you.
Yeah.
They don't say no.
they don't say no. So whatever you ask or request, they'll do it. So they would never, any of our questions we had, any of our requests, they would never say no.
They try to make everything work. And I love that about the staff there. I also love that you would see them at night in like maybe the Red Ginger, and the next morning they were in the buffet. And such a small ship. I guess we didn't talk about how small the ship was, but
it's right at 1,000 passengers.
Okay, so I think being on such a small ship, like you really saw the same crew and staff everywhere, and
they're hard workers.
They're hard workers. They were so pleasant. I think that they treat their staff well, right? Because I felt like they were so pleasant and happy. So the Terrace Cafe, the Waves, we didn't eat in the main dining room that much.
No.
What did you think of it when we ate there?
It was good. It's a service dining room, so it's a little bit slower, obviously, than a buffet getting it yourself. I liked it.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's good because you're meeting people, you're sitting with people.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable, and it's beautiful inside.
It is beautiful.
They had the coffee lounge with the baristas, and everywhere they had drinks, there was usually like some sort of snack if you were hungry. So the cookies or
little
pastries
sandwiches
or some cold cuts.
Yes.
But the coffee shop Onboard was fabulous.
Oh, yeah. We love our coffee. If you follow our channel, you know that. And I thought the coffee, they're pulling shots. It didn't feel like I was on a ship in a line.
Right.
They just made it very personable.
They made it easy.
Yeah, it was great. One of the videos I'll put up here is of dessert. One time they did a specialty dessert, oftentimes just in the buffet area, and they made their version of baked Alaska, and it was delicious. So I've got a fun video of that. So what did you think of the ship overall? Because I know the Riviera is an older ship, and I don't remember the year it was updated, but what did you think of the ship?
So you could see the wear in the ship, but it was still clean. And they were always cleaning and always doing repairs, so you never noticed it, whether it needed touch-up paint or whatever was going on.
I thought the pool area was in good shape. It was in really good shape because I've seen other ships where there's peeling on the outdoor furniture. I thought it was in great shape.
Pool furniture was good. I mean, and it's got the ship, although it's smaller, has all these different areas. It's got a casino. It's got a game room. It's got a library, the pool area. They have an artist lounge where you can go there and paint and stuff. The captain's bridge. So also a sauna, the weight room.
I thought the art was really classy art rather than like old Art Deco. Some of the ships that we've been on have just kind of outdated art. It was a little bit better on this ship. The weight room, the gym was all clean and up to date, good machines. I use the sauna every day. I saw one other person the whole 12 days in the sauna. There's a women's and men's side for the dry sauna, and it was great. I loved it. Always stocked with towels. It's small because it's a small ship, but it got hot enough too. Sometimes the saunas on ships don't get hot enough. This was great.
Yeah.
So
excursions. So a lot of times you get there's an unspoken pressure to go on excursions.
Yeah.
Alaska is very heavily inundated with excursions.
I found a
And
lot of people online. I was concerned when we first went to book some excursions. I knew they were going to be expensive. They were very expensive, but also everyone said, it's Alaska. It's your one trip there. You've got to do all these excursions. And I'm like, I don't like excursions. Do I book excursions or do I not book excursions?
And because we only had a 2-week window before we sailed, a lot of the excursions were already sold out.
Right.
So we didn't have a choice. So our choices were limited from the get-go. But for our style of travel, that was okay because we would go into a port and just get off the ship and walk around the city and see the city.
Yes. I was more than happy with that. I feel like we saw so much. We got super lucky. Everyone said it's going to rain every day when you go to Alaska. So we took very few pairs of shorts. We were in shorts and skirts, me in a skirt, not you, every day.
It rained on us
every day. We didn't even need our jackets. We didn't even need our heavy jackets. We needed no rain gear. And I think our shoes might have gotten wet that day and then they dried. Like it was no big deal at all. So you might have a completely different experience. We just got lucky. So to the point where a man came up to us on the ship.
We're in the ship and by the elevator.
And he came up to us and said, can I take a picture of you guys in shorts to show my daughter? Because she doesn't believe that it's this warm in Alaska. So that's what it is. So we did do the dog sled summer camp, which we had got a 7:30 appointment, which I guess was their first one of the day. We were so glad we did that.
Yes. Even we were glad we had the very first tour that day because the dogs were fresh, excited.
Oh my gosh.
And we laughed the entire time. They put you on these sleds and they take you on this dirt track. It's a training track.
Whatever
for the sled dogs.
it was just so fun and so enjoyable. And then they let you hold puppies. And we got lucky because there was were they 10 days old? Something tiny little puppies that they let us hold. I'll add that. So the Mendenhall Glacier, we went and they did a 360 on the ship to see this huge glacier. So that was the only thing that I would do next time for sure is I would go on one of the smaller boats to drive closer to that Mendenhall Glacier. It was great. We could see it, and it was still really a great day because they wanted you to see it from all angles. And
they opened up the front of the ship.
Oh, yeah. They opened up the front of the ship. They served hot chocolate. I mean, it was lovely. It was
well done.
Yeah. So let's talk about our favorite things from this cruise.
From the cruise, favorite things, I think the food, we talked about that already. That's spectacular. The sled dog was hilarious. A lot of fun. And just going to all these small cities, all these fishing villages, throughout Alaska.
So there are definitely places that you would not go on your own for a week at a time. There wasn't hotels. The cities were much smaller than I even imagined. I loved the early morning. The sun comes up at 4. We slept with our door open. We slept with our curtains open. We had cool air coming in. We had a balcony cabin number 8047, which was incredibly quiet, but well located. I thought that was a huge benefit, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful. The sun coming up. And then
we took naps because we were up at 4 every morning with these sunlights, with the sun coming up.
The other thing about the small ship is that it was so easy to get on and off the ship every time we were at port.
Oh,
whether we had to tender in, which we did a couple times,
right,
or if we were just there at the dock.
I thought
so easy.
There's just no lines.
Right.
We didn't have to show up early for shows. There was always great seating. I feel like
even the pool, you didn't have to reserve a chair, a Chase Lounge.
And they were padded and they set them up for you. I mean, the pool area was amazing. The ice cream. Every day they have new ice cream, and it's really good quality ice cream, all inclusive. I loved the linens were really good quality on the bed.
Rooms were spacious.
Yeah, I mean,
it reminded me at the theater where they were doing the production shows. The aisles where you got your chair. And it's almost when people walk in front of you, you don't have to move your legs. There's enough width between chairs that it's very easy to get around in the theater.
So there was maybe 1 or 2 things that people complained about. It didn't bother us at all. There was a couple people that said the ship was too quiet. And I think that there was not as many options in the evening as people get on other ships.
We've been
in
on
comparisons.
we've been on other cruises, and
Yeah.
there's something at 7 o'clock and 7:30. There's something different at a different location, and then at 8 o'clock there's a third band playing someplace else. So there's all sorts of activity all the time
Because they're spreading people out on the ship.
Yeah.
And this was like almost like everybody was all together.
Right. There was one production time at night, and then you moved on to a band after that.
So
But
we
we enjoyed it.
a lot of people went straight to bed. And
Yeah.
that was fine. We went and there was a band playing dance music.
Like 10
And there
o'clock?
there was very few people there, but we had a good time.
Yeah.
I
And they
also
were a great band.
I also felt like the performers' entertainment was not their bright spot. I would say it was a B, because it's really skewed older, and the entertainment was not as varied as on some of the larger ships.
And another observation on the larger ships, you might have an older crowd, but there's more walkers
Yes.
and wheelchairs.
Yes.
On the Oceania, it was still an older crowd because you're cruising, but they were very mobile.
Yes, we talked to a man in a wheelchair. There was only 2 wheelchair accessible rooms. So everyone was very active.
Yeah.
It was an active older crowd. And that might have been because it was Alaska. We don't know, but we just noticed
Just
that
an
between
observation.
Riviera and some of the other cruise lines. So do you have anything else to
Oh,
add?
I'd book it again in a heartbeat.
And
I'd go again.
I can see now why there's people that go to Alaska every year. I feel like you could go every year and see something different, have a different experience.
It'll be a different experience each and every time.
I mean,
all right. That's it for us on the Oceania Riviera. If you've been on that ship, or if you have a different favorite ship, let us know in the comments. Love to hear your thoughts on your favorite ship, your favorite destination, your favorite excursions.